Welcome to my views and news. Some news stories. First one is from Tigray, where some journalists working for Tigray's DW TV have resigned. Several journalists have resigned. What is the reason? And is it due to restrictions imposed by TPL? Because this channel DWTV is owned by TPLF. The channel, TV channel and radio station both are owned by the TPLF. And secondly, social media rumors are being spread that Tigray Werede, Tigray's top military officer, is going to visit Eritrea. And thirdly, viewers, Archbishop of Addis Ababa today issued a statement about what happened at St. George Church yesterday when in tear gas firing, several Orthodox followers were injured. They went unconscious. They were taken to hospitals. And the diocese, Addis Ababa diocese, is rejecting state media report about the incident. We know that yesterday Ethiopian Communication Ministry issued a statement about the incident which happened at St. George Church. But Addis Ababa diocese is challenging the alleged facts mentioned by Ethiopian Communication Ministry. Firstly, viewers, Tigray's DW TV, Dimsti Vijayane TV and radio channels are owned by the TPL of Tigray People Television Fund. The channel has its headquarters in Mekelle, Tigray's capital. If you remember, a few months ago, when there was fighting between Tigray forces and Ethiopian National Defense Force and EDF, and Ethiopian drones were conducting drone strikes on Tigray. Back then, in a drone strike, some antennas and other equipment of DWTV in Mekelle were hit in a drone strike by Ethiopian drones. So the TV station is based mainly in Mekelle. Several journalists working for DWTV have resigned. At least 5 have resigned, and more than a dozen are in the process of sending the resignation to administration. What is the reason? Some journalists have talked to some news outlets like Heftom, Haile, and Kasse Masele. They say there is no editorial freedom. Content is censored. Only the content which is approved by one party is allowed to be aired. One party means TPL. Different views on one topic are not allowed. No professionalism, no merit. Those who are loyal to one party, they're promoted. Knowledge, experience have no value. And journalists are not allowed to express their views in social media too. They're restricted. They cannot speak on social media pages. So that is why journalists say they cannot work in this environment. They cannot do justice to journalism, because what is being demanded is against journalistic morals. While DWTV administration claims that the journalists who are claiming that they have resigned are those who have been fired for lack of discipline, for lack of commitment, and that some are leaving because of salary issue. It's surprising that DWTV journalists did not receive any salaries in the last 2 years, I think. They were working without salaries, doctors as well. So why would they leave now if they have survived 2 years? Now, when things are improving, why would they leave now for the sake of salaries? There are issues. Tigray Regional Government, TPLF, is behaving like PP, like Ethiopian federal government. ENDF supporting PP at the center, and here Tigray military is supporting TPLF. Media in both places under strict pressure, crackdown. That is why the journalists have resigned. So no change in Tigray. And it seems TPLF has not learned a lesson, or TPLF believes this is the only way to rule. And if democratic reforms and independence of media are implemented, it could create problems for TPLF. If TPLF is not allowing journalists to speak freely on DW TV, TPLF has no right to accuse PM Abiy, federal government of closing political space for opposition parties. Secondly, where social media rumors are going around that Tigray Werede, Tigray's former commander-in-chief of Tigray Defense Force, there is no TDF now, is going to visit Eritrea. Several activists have shared this information. We tried to dig out, we could not confirm so far. Tigray is top man in Tigray, and he is top man in terms of his relations with TPLF too, because he was leading a committee for formation of interim government in Tigray. It's highly unlikely that Tigray would be visiting Eritrea in coming days. That is how I understand it. Why? Because a few months ago, TPLF was not ready to sit with Eritrean government. TPLF threatened to boycott talks if Eritrea was invited to talks. If you remember, African Union High Representative Olusegun Obasanjo had proposed that Eritrea should be made part of dialogue to resolve the issue, the conflict in Tigray. Back then, Tigray strongly opposed the idea of sitting at the table with Eritrea. Let's see what happens. Overall, if it happens, it would be good for this region. I have been saying that since the signing of the Pretoria deal, that for lasting peace and stability in this region, one day TPLF and PFDJ will have to sit at the table. That is the only way forward. Otherwise, they'll keep on spreading hate, they'll keep on sharing disinformation against each other, and you'll never see lasting, durable peace in this region. Let's see, we'll try to update you if we have any solid information about Tigray Werede's visit. Let's hope it happens. Let's hope that Isaias Afwerki sits with Debretsion. Lastly, viewers, Addis Ababa Archbishop issued a statement in connection with what happened at St. George Church yesterday. We know that on Thursday, while prayer was underway at St. George Church near Minlik Square, security forces fired tear gas. Tear gas smoke entered church premises. Orthodox followers went unconscious. Several were taken to a hospital. And one participant at the gathering at Minlik Square died. Now, Addis Ababa Archbishop says that this is not the first time that tear gas has been fired at church. Addis Ababa church statement is claiming as if church was targeted, that deliberately security forces fired tear gas at worshippers inside the church. And Addis Ababa church has used the word holiday of hatred, that Adwa Victory Day was holiday of victory, but now it has turned into holiday of hatred. And secondly, the church has praised Menelik, Emperor Menelik, for leading the offensive, leading Ethiopian forces in 1896. The church Addis Ababa diocese claims that there was violence in church compound and believers, Orthodox followers, they were injured. The church is rejecting Ethiopian government statement. Yesterday, government said that there were some troublemakers who disrupted prayer in the church. Church is rejecting this claim by the government. Church is accusing the government. Government forces disrupted the prayer of the church by firing tear gas. Church is not pulling any punches. It is clearly accusing the government, and that is what happened, I think. Government forces fired tear gas to disperse protesters. It's not that some troublemakers try to create unrest at the church. Firing of tear gas led to start of stampede. People ran for their lives, and you saw that some were injured and one death is being confirmed. Thank you.